it's time, so let's get things started. It is finally the day. It is finally time for my debut. So, we are here to answer the question finally. Who is Civah Hallowgard? And, well, in short, that answer is me. I am Civah Hallowgard, and I have a actual form now. Hi. I am Civah Hallowgard. So this is my new form. Make. I have a lot of things I can do with this form. I don't think I'll be going fake. Good try. Won't be going over all of them today, but this is me. I have my little shadows finally with me and able to be shown on camera. I have my notebook, which you have sort of seen in some of the shorts if you've watched those. I also have my potions from all my alchemy again. You might have seen those in the shorts. And my little bag with my herbs to help make more potions. But I am not just my physical form, so I'm going to go over my introduction. And I'm going to get out of the way of the slides if I can do so without ruining the stream. There we go. Can I make the shadows hog-shaped? No. No, I cannot make the shadows hog-shaped yet. Maybe in the future. We'll see. But to introduce myself, I am Civah Hallowgard. Not long ago, I was a corporate wizard working for a mega magic tower that shall not be named for legal reasons. We decided to mutually part ways due to a difference in opinions and not because of a major incident that I also cannot talk about for legal reasons. Nothing like that at all. And with my newfound freedom, I decided to move out to the middle of nowhere and become the hermit hedge mage that I always wanted to be. Now that I am free to pursue my own research and interests and figure out what was causing all the strange things happening on my property, I found I also had just a lot of free time in my hand. So even though I do spend some of that time doing freelance work to pay the bills, I decided to also start streaming. But before I go much further, I would like to introduce my two gremlins, who I also refer to as my familiars, because you will likely hear them before the end of the stream. Oh no, there we go. This is Kit and Kumo. You will see them a lot, especially if you follow me on social media. They are my two familiars, they are the loves of my life, and I am nothing without them. During normal streams, you'll also be able to spend some channel points, which I believe I'm calling hollow coins or something right now, to get little pictures of them in the top right corner of the screen, but right now that is turned off. You'll hear Kumo the most, for sure. Those are my boys, my dogs. Yes, they are the best. That's all I can say. You'll hear Kumo the most because he has spirit sense. He can see the ghosts that are outside, and he must let me know that they are there, and I appreciate all of his hard work. Kit, however, you won't hear too much unless I have food, and then you'll very much hear him. He doesn't have the spirit sense, but he does have the shadow sneak. He is my little hunter, and I do love him for that. Yep, so if you want to see more pictures of them, follow me on Twitter, Blue Sky, whatever you want, or in the Discord channel, which you can get to with !Discord, Kit superiority. And yeah, if you want more pictures of them, just head over onto the Discord, and you'll see plenty of those. Alright, so one thing you might have noticed with my model is that, I guess I should go over while I was streaming. I skipped ahead. Anyways, I picked up streaming for a few reasons. First and foremost is it's just fun. It's fun playing games, chatting with new people, meeting new people. And if it wasn't fun, why would I really bother even doing it, right? And it's also a great creative outlet for me. I sort of stagnated for a while with creating and just getting anything creative done. I do like to write. I am a pretty big writer, but recently I haven't really been doing that, so I've been trying to find a new outlet for that, and streaming has sort of filled that role. It's helped me learn a lot of new skills that I didn't really have before. And hello, Riani. I'm glad you could make it. I hope the end of your stream went well. I did have to log out a little bit early on that to get this all set up. But I'm glad you could make it. Happy to have you here. We just got started, so you have not missed much. And then finally, of course, as Riani is now showing, socializing. I have met a lot of really cool people through streaming so far, and I'm hoping to continue that trend and continue meeting new people, talking to new people, because if left to my own devices, I would probably just sit around at home alone, doing not much. So yeah, this really helps me break out of my shell and sort of get out there. But now, if you've noticed, with my new model, I'm sort of missing something. Big hat. That's a big part of my last model, and it's a big part of, being a wizard. Like I said on the screen, can you even be a real wizard without the big hat? Well, there's a little bit of a story behind that. If you've watched any of the little shorts I've put out, you might know a little bit about it. Yes, big hat, big hat, big hat. So I made a little timeline to get through these shorts for those who didn't watch it. It's all started with me leaving the Megacorp magic tower that cannot be named, and having a new start out in the little hermit magic hut in the woods. But when I started sort of exploring my new territory, I started hearing strange sounds and finding weird things like upturned dirt, shattered trees, just cloth randomly strewn about. It's getting real weird. So I started to sort of look into that more, and one day I just found that my wards were just completely getting burnt out and ruined, just seemingly for nothing. I couldn't find anything, and I couldn't tell what was breaking these wards. And not long after I discovered that, I managed to get attacked. I got sort of possessed. And I managed to get one more video out as a call for help, which was the part 2 video. And sort of during that conflict, I did manage to get together a spell that expelled it, the creature that had attacked me. But when I did that, I realized I actually recognized this creature. One of the things I did at the Mega Magic Tower that shall not be named is research extra-dimensional beings, and this creature was one of the ones that I had worked with. And apparently when I decided to leave the big Mega Magic Corp that shall not be named, it decided to, take the chance to leave as well, and it sought me out. So apparently my defensive wards did not manage to keep it out of my property, but it did enough to damage and frazzle it and confuse it. So it didn't really see me as the thing it was looking for help, but something to attack instead. So that's sort of where that confusion came from. But during their time in my body, they managed to absorb enough of my magic to recover themselves, and we were able to have a mostly reasonable conversation and come to an agreement, which we are calling the Pact. But in return for allowing them to stay with me and not sending them back to the Mega Magic Tower that should not be named, they wouldn't try to eat my brain again, so I'd seen that seemed like a pretty good deal to me. But as a result of the Pact, we also do share a bit of our magic between each other, so that's, also a nice little bonus. But back to where is the big hat? So because they are an extra-dimensional being, they need something from our reality to exist in. A vessel of sorts. Since they left their last vessel to invade my body, they needed a new one. Apparently they had noticed how much I loved and cared for my big hat, so they decided to use that as a vessel. And they won't give me it back. So the only reason they really gave me for taking my big hat is big good. And I guess that's that. It's theirs now. But the good news is that as a result of them taking my big hat, they've actually made it even better and grander. And as another bonus to that, it means we'll often have a special guest on the stream. Since, I typically want to wear my big hat, big hat is big good, as they say. And yeah, so they'll be joining me more often than not. So without further ado, I would like to introduce you all to said extra-dimensional creature. I can just fix my... There we go. And I would like to introduce you all to Mimi. Mimi is the extra-dimensional creature I have mentioned, and they now are my big hat. So you'll often see them on top of my head, just kind of vibing up there, looking around, making sure things are all good. Unfortunately, normal microphones cannot pick up Mimi's voice, so you'll not be able to hear them. So I'll just have to be relaying what they're saying. Or though sometimes they can force themselves to take over me, I guess. But we sort of made an agreement not to do that very often because it gives me a killer headache. But yeah, so this is Mimi, big hat. And before I go much further, I would like to just go over some fun little things I can do with my model now that Mimi is here as well. I can be angry. You know, for when I'm playing League, this will probably be a permanent toggle that is on because it's League. And I can also be just dead, and you know, Mimi doesn't really like when this happens because without my magic, they'll have to find a new vessel and a new person to leech off of. And then I can just be confused, which will probably also happen a lot during League because it's League. Mimi's not too concerned about this one because this is a very common state for me. One other thing I can do is change my hair color. Because magic is wonderful like that. Very nice strawberry blondish sort of color. I do like it, but gray is sort of my natural color, so I'll stick with that for the most part. Alright, so next, we're going to be talking about the kind of content we're going to be doing. So those who have been here before, you know that I have sort of a main couple games that I tend to bounce around, mostly including Rocket League, which I tend to start my streams with. It's one of the few games I consider like something I'm actually pretty decent at, so I tend to start with that most days. And then we have PUBG and League of Legends, which I often play with Dan Kemp Gaming, who you see in chat. I will rarely ever play those games alone, but typically they are really good collab games to just hang out and chill with friends and play. And then we have Valorant, which is something I've only sort of recently got into, thanks to a few streamer friends such as Soul2D and Golden, who you also saw in chat. But I am also very, very bad at Valorant, so I am doing my best to get better, but I will play that from time to time as well. But there are also games that I want to play more of, one of which is Monster Hunter. And Monster Hunter is another big series for me in the past. I really love that series, and with Wilds coming out soon-ish, TM, I'm hoping to really get into that again. Then I also have driving and flying games that I want to play. I do have a nice racing wheel and pedals. I also have flight sticks. I don't know what games I'll be playing. I do have a couple lined up, but I do want to try some of those if I can get them working with the stream. And I am in the way. I'll move myself back over here in the corner so you can actually see all of this. Then we have MMOs. MMOs are something that are also a big thing in my past. I was a huge person into WoW for the longest time, but the past couple expansions have sort of had me falling out of that pretty quickly. Final Fantasy XIV is something I did start streaming a little bit, and it is something I'd like to get back to. I have a lot of story in that to get through still, so you'll probably see me pick that up again in the future. And then also indie games. I will admit I don't play a ton of indie games. I tend to have a really bad habit of buying a game and then just letting it sit there and telling myself I'll play it someday, and then I never do. So I'm hoping to get through a lot of those. I have a big backlog I can get through. One of the first I believe I'll be working towards, probably either in this next upcoming week or the week after, is a game called Potionomics. I think that's just very much a vibe for me, especially with my new model and all the alchemy I have going on. So look forward to that in the upcoming weeks. Another one would be Beastie Ball, which is not related to my model at all, but it did come out in its early access finally. Now, for those who know, that's like a Pokemon sort of thing mixed with sports. So it's a monster catching game where you're playing like a volleyball style sport. It looks like a lot of fun. I backed it on Kickstarter a bit ago and it just came out in early release, so I want to play that at some point. But yeah, that's about it. I try to keep my streams pretty chill, comfortable place to be. I do tend to play a lot of competitive games though, so we do get a little hype at times, but overall I try to keep pretty chill, unless I'm playing League, because League brings out the worst in me. But anyways, that's really all the new things I wanted to introduce. So I'd just like to go through the credits and thanks, because there's a lot of people to thank for all the things that I have prepared for today, including the model, which will be the first thanks I give to Cross. Cross is an incredible artist and rigger. I've worked with them for a couple months on this now, and they've just been so nice to work with, so responsive. They also do stream, so I'm going to give them a shout out. And I hope this is right, because I do spell this wrong very often. Yeah, so they're a great person. I found just finding them on VGen randomly was probably the best thing that could have happened. I just brought them a sort of vague idea of what I wanted along with some reference images, and they managed to create what you see before you today. So I definitely would not be here as I am today without them, so I'm super thankful for them. Alright, so next we have Himiko Design, because I have a logo now. I have a real, actual logo. I'm like a real VTuber now. They also are on VGen. I managed to find them there as well. They're also on Twitter, so go ahead and give them a follow. They're really good to work with, really responsive. They really helped me flesh out what I wanted my logo to be, and I'm very thankful for them as well. You'll likely be seeing this logo a lot in the future as I figure out where to put it, including stuff like banners. And now, next is emotes. They are not available yet, but I'll be putting them up as soon as I get to my next break, which will probably be after these slides. But I have 3 new emotes from Manhunter, who I found through Cross, actually. And he's also completely great to work with. He turned my very rough, ugly, terrible sketches into these wonderful, wonderful emotes. Doesn't Mimi just look glorious in these? I believe I'll be making the heart one right here as a free emote, so everybody will be able to spam that. And then we have Mimi Screaming and Mimi Chaos, which will be sub emotes. So Manhunter was great to work with, just like Cross was. They were able to, like I said, take my stupid sketches I did on Post-it notes and turn them into these wonderful things. They're on Blue Sky and Twitter, as well as they also do stream, so let me give them a shout out as well. So do go check them out. They're wonderful. All right, so next is the emote I probably use the most, the Kumo emote from Zombie. They actually made this for a video for Rev, who was in chat a little bit earlier, and they allowed me to use this as an emote for Twitch, and it is probably my most used emote by far because it is adorable and I love it so much. And I am working with them to get a matching kit emote, so look forward to that in the future as well. And they're also great. They also stream occasionally, so I'll do another shout out. I did collab with them for Hospital 666 somewhat recently, and that was a lot of fun. I really appreciated being invited to that. And yeah, go check them out. They do great work. They do illustrations as well as emotes, and I working with them has been great. And next is the last one, all of you. Just thank you to all of the people who have supported me up to this point. I would love to sit here and name everybody, but I would be here all night, and I'm afraid I would still end up forgetting somebody because I have a terrible memory, and I would feel so bad if I did. So instead, I'm just going to give a blanket thank you to all of you for showing up, for being here, for coming to my streams. I cannot put into words how much I appreciate the support. And I hope that I can continue to make this stream a fun place to just stop by and chill and, you know, enjoy yourselves. And finally, it's just a, what's next? What are we going to do now? Well, honestly, I don't know. I was planning on this taking a lot longer than it did, but I kind of just flew through it because that's what I do when I am nervous. So I think I'm just going to take a quick break. I'm going to put those emotes into chat as well. And when I get back, we'll probably just do some Rocket League, because that is... No, we're not playing League. I refuse to play League on my debut. You can't stop me. I'm going to play Rocket League. And... no. Yeah, I'm just going to stick with Rocket League for tonight. Play some chill games. Not play PUBG where I'm going to have to flashbang you. Oh no, what did you install, Rev? You installed Valorant, right? Along with Dan, so we're all going to play Valorant together. But yeah, I'm going to take a break, and when we get back, we're going to be playing... Alright, I'll play PUBG if we get both Rev and Dan to play. Okay, good. Then I can go play Rocket League. So yeah, we're going to take a 10-minute break or so I can get up and stretch a little bit and go play with the puppies. And then when I get back, we'll be playing some Rocket League. So hope y'all will get up, stretch, get some snacks and drinks, whatever you got to do to be comfy for the rest of the stream. And I will be back in just a little bit. Thank you all for coming again, and I hope to see you when I get back.